What's up, AOB familia? Brent with AOB here. So we ended up 783 and 56 cents. And as promised today, we're going to play with that entire bankroll. Let's get this out of your way. And we are on the Evo French table. Get rid of that yucky, Prague tables. Just kidding. There's nothing. I mean, it's just, you get it. Anyway, so what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to do it, is I'm playing with my entire bankroll today. I just want to show you and talk about the pros and cons of doing it this way, right? So you can take more of a bulleted approach or a percentage of your bankroll and play with that. I think that's a great idea, especially if you are just getting started. The pros to this way is I can increase my unit size, still have plenty of progressions, and make more. So even right now, we would normally be playing with 10 cents, 20 cents, maybe 50 cents. Here, I'm playing with $1. And instead of $100, I got $779. So that's the pro. The pros are that I can have more progressions, especially if I wanted to stay at 10 cents, right? So if you're playing with a $100 bankroll, and let's just say you say, okay, I'm going to play with 10 cents, and that gives me X number of progressions, I can stay with 10 cents and push the progression. That's the good news. The bad news is, you have to have a lot of self-discipline to play this way, okay? You got to have a lot of self-discipline, because when you see that big bankroll down there and you start having several losses, when we had the $100 in there, I knew exactly where I was running out, and I was okay with that because I knew I had squirreled away another 600 some dollars. Here, you see that big bankroll, and it really does give you this false sense of security that my progressions are unlimited, right? Because when you look at it and go, well, $780, I'm only betting $5. That can evaporate very, very quickly when you're martingaling or super martingaling or whatnot you're playing, okay? And you're more apt to go, okay, shoot, let's go. Let's keep building the bet. So if you don't have in your mind a place that, or a method or a strategy ahead of time, remember we talked about that you should always have that coming into the building. You should always know what your plan is, what your exit strategy is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So you're going to be running a fire drill through your head basically before you even play and know what that is. So you can go, here are my progressions. This gives me 8 progressions or 10 progressions if I 3x it, and I'm going to play all the way through it, and I'm going to bank that it's not going to take me all those, it won't be able to get me for all those progressions, right? And let me tell you, however many progressions for the most part, let's not get ridiculous, you think is safe, it's not really, okay? Get in our community. People will tell you horror stories of they played a certain strategy and it went so many progressions, it was ridiculous, and it busted them, okay? So you have to be very careful. And again, I'm just showing you glimpses of how I play. This is how I play. I prefer my own personal self. I prefer playing with pretty much my full bankroll. Now, when my bankroll starts getting when your bankroll starts getting huge, obviously you want to draw a line. But even more than that, if I had my choice between playing with a $100 bankroll and say 10 cent units like we were doing yesterday and the day before, or playing with a 788 with maybe 20 cents or 30 cents bankroll, I'll take this one because I personally believe it's still, if you have enough progressions and you're cautious and you take breaks and you play with short sessions, that this is more than, it's safer, or I should say it's safe enough for me. But you have to make that decision. My preference for you guys, if you're building up and we're going for the life plan here, right? This is a life-changing plan. My preference is that you still play with a certain smaller percentage of your bankroll because it's going to keep you in check from potentially chasing, and it gets you, okay? So it gets all of us. Maybe you're the exception to the rule, and that's great, but we're competitive by nature. We're gamblers, right? We're gamblers. So we're willing, inherently, we are not, we're not the risk adverse group of people that don't want any risk. Now, I realize there's a bunch of a bunch of our members and stuff that are gamblers, but they're also very, 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 they don't like losing. They don't like risking too much. And that's totally acceptable. Right. But you have to kind of think about the pros and cons. And I've been hesitant about showing you this version because I don't want people going out there and going, oh, he just wants me to play with my whole bankroll. And the next thing you know, I see comments in YouTube or in our Discord. I just got rinsed. I just lost everything because I played with entire balance. So I'm just really urging caution that if you play with your full balance like this, and if you are not extremely careful, you will lose it all. You will. I mean, you could get incredibly lucky for a while, but the bigger your balance grows, the more that you feel that you're invincible. And the more that you want to chase your losses because your losses are bigger, right? And when we see bigger losses, we're like, that's not acceptable. Right now we lose, okay, it would suck. I lose $100. But in my losses, in my progression, I'm losing $2, $4, $8, $16, $32, right? Those type of numbers don't tend to cause us to really chase like a rabid dog. You start playing with these type of numbers and you start losing $120, $200, $300. Those are going to be tough pills to swallow and you're not going to want to, right? And you're going to want to get it back and you're going to want to get it back fast. And that's the other pitfall that we've talked about, right? How do we recover? You go all in because I'm going to get it all back in this session. Not a good idea. It may work. It may work. It may work. And then boom, it doesn't. And you just set yourself back weeks, if not months of time, potentially rinse your entire bankroll. If you're going to play with a full balance and you don't want to play with just say $100 or whatever that number is for you, there's our first loss. All right, we're good with that. Now, I'm kind of looking down here, 4, 10, 19, 13. I'm going to go ahead and risk it. And I'm doing a 3x bet. So I'm at $15. I'm not sweating it at this point. But that $15, if I do 3x again, is suddenly $45. I 3x that again, I'm suddenly at $135, right? From $135, right? You getting how that goes? It's not as many progressions as you think, especially at 3x. So, all right, there's one. We need two. We need two to get and go ahead. So I'm gonna shut up. No, I'm not gonna shut up. That's asking myself the impossible. I'm not going to shut up, but I am also going to modulate my bets. I'm going to show you how I would actually play. I want you to see that, but I need you to really understand that this is me. You need to customize and tailor your style based on everything that we've done this far. And I urge you to err on the side of caution and going slower, okay? Going slower. Nothing wrong with going slower on this. I'm going back. We recovered. And you see, I'm just staying static. I'm just staying static. I thought about for a second of switching. But then I thought, at this point, she really hasn't hit this double street much at all. And the other reason I'm not playing on a speed table is because these bets are going to start getting bigger. And I really want to take advantage of the French Le Partage table. If you're just joining us and you're looking at this table layout and you're going, what is that? This is a French table, okay? And it has Le Partage, which means if it hits 0, we get all of our outside even money bets, the 1-to-1 bets, red, black, even, odd, high, and low. Just those bets. You would get 50% back of whatever amount you have just on those, okay? So in this case, we have 3 units. Monk is low, 1 to 18. Pass is high, 19 to 36. Impair, odd, pair, even. Then you have your red, your black. And this is the part that trips me up the most, which is P12, M12, D12. That is your first dozen, second dozen, third dozen. And then these boxes over here, are your columns. Okay. So it takes some getting used to. And I make mistakes when I play on this table and then I go back to a regular table. I'm so used to this being the high, 19 through 36, that I'll go play on a regular table and I'll put 3 units on the first dozen and then 1 unit here, 1 unit here. And then it'll hit down here. I'm like, sweet, I win. And it comes up and I'm like, what? There's no way. I just won that. I'm like, oh, Brent, you dummy. So anyway, so the advantage of this is, look, we're at 10 minutes. We're already at $12, right? We're going to be considerably ahead of where we were at if we were betting 10, 20, 30 cent bets with $100 units. We're going to be making a lot more progress. Now, one thing that you can do to offset and kind of balance out the playing fields, right? If you're betting lower unit sizes with the lower partial bankroll, the $100 that I was using before, you're going to be playing in these 15 to 20 minute sessions. I hope you're playing that and limiting it to that. And you might need 3 to 5 to 6 to 7. If you're going to play here, and we're still looking at that 5% as the nice to have, and I really urge you, not to go, okay, I'm playing with a bigger bankroll, I'm making more money. So instead of 5%, why aren't I making 15, 20%? And that is another reason I've been really hesitant to share this with you, because that's dangerous. So what I would suggest you do, and I'm not going to do it for the videos because I want the videos to stay roughly the same amount of time. So like one video isn't 15 minutes, the next video is an hour and a half. I'm trying to get up where I'm playing 3 to 5 sessions or somewhere around 45 minutes to an hour video. And the feedback I've gotten is that most people like kind of that timeline. But if I were to advise you on what I suggest you do if you're going to play like this is, make your sessions 5 minutes. Make your sessions 7 minutes. Time box them much smaller. You're still looking at that 5% nice to have target. That is a really, really good daily target. The longer you sit here and play, right, the higher the risk we are of running into a really bad streak. Now, could that streak happen in the 5 minutes we play? Absolutely. But if we dodge it in that first 5 minutes, obviously the longer we keep playing it, the more we're going to have a chance of hitting a losing streak. All right, here we go. So if you are playing with bigger bets, you can get to that 5% nice to have quicker. Shorten up your sessions. You don't need to play 3 to 5 15-minute sessions, and then you are looking at making, instead of $35 a day or whatever, today it's $39 would be our nice to have. Nice to have. Remember that. You don't have to have it. We could get to our 39. If I even wanted to play a little bit more aggressive, that we could easily get there in one session, right? And let me finish this up here, and I personally would have no problem playing $5 units here, $25 bet. Okay, that's just me. But that's, again, I'm escalating the risk. And at $5 bets, look at this, 17 and 2, right? Now we have to take off some, because it took us 2 spins to recover. But we'd be like $60 right now, $60, $70, right? 5 times this, $65. So we'd be at $65 in the first 15-minute session. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Punches and bunches. Here it comes. All right. So I am going to do that. I'm going to double. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Cinco on there. All right. Now, we're already at a $55 bet. Okay. So what I suggest is, if you're going to play this way and I lose this, I'm taking a break. I'll come back to this and we're going to go into recovery mode. But after this, I'm taking a break. 2 to 3 losses, either before recovery or within a very short period of time, just take a break. Either switch tables or do something else, right? Let that clear out. I get it. Mathematically, it makes no difference. I understand. Actually, I'm bringing that back down. We're going to go $5 units. And we are at 15 minutes. So again, make sure you understand that what I'm doing in this video is I'm going to keep playing through, because I don't want my videos to be, you know, the time and stuff like that, right? I got to make a video out of this, but you're not making a video out of it. Maybe you are, but or maybe that's just a different. Oh, see, look at this. Punches and bunches. Right now, she has just hit us. Look at this. 4, 2, 3. So I'm going to call it quits because we're only down 16. That's no problem yet. But she has already hit us on these streets. Now I could move streets. I could go up high. That wouldn't be a bad choice. And that's probably, if I were going to play through, I would look to move my streets right now because she's hammering that. But we're at 15 minutes and I'm going to go, you know what? I just lost several times before I recovered. I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back. And that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to take about a 10-minute break. We'll come back and pick up where we left off. And I'll show you how I do my recovery when we come back. All right. Cheers. Okay, fools, we are back. And let me get a bet down here. And would have been a really good run for us if we didn't take a break. Actually, shoot, you guys can't see that. My scene is off because it's been, they changed, the different tables have different, I wish they would all just get the same stupid layout across the board. But I want you guys to be able to see the history there. So there we go. Okay. So that's better. Sorry. All right. Soybean, lay down, buddy. Let's repeat. Okay. So what I like to do when I recover, and there's a couple different options, right? Let's just use $1 units to make things easy. We're playing 5 double streets, $1 unit. We lose, let's say we opt to do a 3X. That $1 unit becomes $3 units. We lose again, that becomes a $9 unit, okay? Let's say we take a break, like we did. We come back. Now you have a couple choices. Oh my gosh, I thought she was gonna whack us on a 3 right off the bat. You have a couple different choices, okay? So one is, the last bet was 9. We're gonna 3X again. Suddenly, our unit size is $27. Okay, now, recovery's faster because a couple hits gets us all the way back up. But you're also jeopardizing a huge thing. This cat right now is just like rolling all over. Let me show you what this guy is doing. Okay, you need to settle down. You need to settle down, buddy. So instead, think of a staggered approach, meaning you start with a $1 unit, like we did, and if you lose a couple in a row, then you keep doing your progressions like you normally would. But if you lose the second or third in a row, right? Whether it's 2 or 3, it's up to you. Whether you lose 2 or 3, you take your break. Instead of coming back and picking all the way up there or starting all the way back at your base bet, if it was a $1 unit, maybe you come in, you just start over. You can leave your graph like we're doing, but we start over. But instead of a $1 unit and instead of a $27 unit, we make good at $3 or $5 and you begin your journey again there. So what that's going to do is and you guys can see what that's going to do, right? We're going to make pretty good ground. We're going to cover it up pretty quickly, but we're gaining back a couple progressions, and progressions are life. So it's sort of a bullet system. Not sort of, it is the bullet system that many of our members are using, where you start with this, you give yourself a fairly low number of progressions, right? Because if you bust on that, your overall debt still remains low, and then you run it back and you increase it higher. Thanks. She hadn't hit any of that till we sat down. Look at this long run of none of it. We sit down and she decides to do it. All right. I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles. So then if you were to do this, let's say I lost this one, instead of me going up another 3X, so now I'd have $45 units. I take a break and I come back and maybe I opt for $10 units. And what I'm looking for, especially on high coverage systems, is I'm looking to see if I can get 5, 6 wins in a row, which isn't unheard of. Okay. So that's just an option I wanted to talk to you about that I like. What I normally do is I will normally come in. If I'm down, I'll come in and I'll play back at my base bet and get a feel for the table. How's it going? And then I'll go in bigger. Sometimes I'll do what we're doing here, which is I will just increase my base bet and start again. Sometimes I will bet at the $1 or $5 units, and then I'll go in at a $25 unit and see if I can't recover in a much faster way. Pros and cons to each. This one here is you're staying, the recovery is longer, which means your chance of getting hit. And then we're going to go down this same rabbit hole again. But I do like this version. I also like my other version, which is spin a couple and then go in and whew, I saw that 2 there. I'm like, no. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going back down to 5. Here we go. And we're going to stay here. And we left off at $15, right? We left off at $15. We had played around 15 minutes or so. And look how quickly we're going to be able to recover. One more hit here, we'll be at $14 and we'll be at 5 minutes. Okay. So I do like this bulleted approach, or I do like where you take your break, let the table clear. Obviously we lost on like the second or third spin. So, but more importantly, it's not necessarily about the results of this. Oh my God. This is the luck I'm having. Look at this. I leave. It doesn't hit these numbers at all. We come back. It now has hit twice. All right. So I like that bulleted system, but I personally, for me, I like betting once or twice, then kind of going in large and in charge and getting all the way back, then bringing my bets way back down, whether that's dollar units, $2, whatever you start out with. I would love to get up to say $20 here and then bring this thing all the way back to $1 unit and continue playing there for my 15 minutes, see where I'm at. If I get up to 30, 40 bucks on my second session, guess what? I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. Oh, by the way, and I think I've said this before, when I'm in playing at a live brick and mortar casino at a table and I'm there actually playing, never look at the wheel. Never look at the wheel. I'll tell you why. When you look at the wheel, you see every spin. You see every spin just how flipping close you were to losing. And that'll freak you out. I mean, every single spin will be right next to one of these 7 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you watch that wheel, people are so intent watching the wheel, then you realize just how close, like right there. Oh my gosh, we almost hit the 0. Then there was a 3. Then you realize, okay, there we are. We're at $14. I'm going to stay back at $5 units here real quick. And once we get up, if we hit this one, I'm going to pull myself back to dollar units. Okay. And that will be at $19. And I got to watch out for soybean because I don't know if you've heard the infamous soybean bets, but I was on a live stream once and he hit something and placed a $1,000 bet on the 5-6 split right here, this 5-6 split. He placed a $1,000 bet on that and it didn't hit the 5-6 split. Now, that being said, after I lost 1,000, the very next spin hit the 5. I'm like, man, why couldn't that have happened? That would have been amazing. And he's also, I was doing another video and he did something very similar where he bet, his paws, he was all stretched out sleeping and his paws were hitting things in the mouse and placed another bet, another big bet. But that's how it goes when you want to have these guys hanging out with you. I have a on-off switch for my wireless keyboard. So oftentimes when I'm playing, I'll actually just turn my keyboard off so that he can't mess it up. All right, look at this. We are at $20. I'm going to keep going. And I'm back down to $1 units. Now, had I come in when we were down and we were down what here, $16, had we gone in large and in charge, we would have been okay. We would have recovered before this point, right? But we could have also lost the very first spin, which is not unusual for me to have that first or second spin curse, which is oftentimes why I say when I take a break and I come back, I'll go back to base bet for a couple. I'll see how it's going. And then I'll guess mathematically or statistically, it doesn't make a difference, but it makes a difference to me. All right. So we are at $8.48. We are at $21. We are basically halfway there. So what I'm going to do is, I like how this session's going, and she's very nervous. I like how the session's going. So I'm going to modulate my bets. I'm going to go between $1 units and $5 units. And we're going to play it that way. I'm going to do one $5 units, a couple $1 unit bets. If that's going well, I'll go in for $5. If I lose the $5, we'll 3x it for 2 spins. If I get whacked on the second loss of a $5 base unit, I take a break. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go back to 5. I didn't do quite 3 spins or maybe even 2 spins. I'm not sure, but let's go in. We're going to modulate our bet here. So we did 3 spins because we were at $19, 20, 21, 22. So we did 3 spins. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to hit it and we'll go from there and see what happens. So anyway, those are a bunch of different approaches, and I'm sure there's even more variations. And these aren't things that I've come up with, all this stuff's been around forever, right? I would love to take credit for coming up with the 5 double street strategy. I really would. But unfortunately, I just cannot. All right, here we go. We're going back down to $1 units. And the nice thing is when you're modulating and you're doing a bigger bet, say the $5 units, it's literally a sigh of relief to come back down to the 1. And now you feel like you're betting with because we just made $5. We're risking $5. So we're in essence playing with house money. It's a lower stress way. I would rather stress 1 or 2 bets and then bring it back down. And I think tomorrow's session, I think we're going to go back to playing Twister Twister or musical strats. They're actually one and the same. It's just how you decide to play those. But I think we're going to come back. We're going to go in with Twister. The idea, if you're just joining us or you haven't watched through all the videos, the idea is that you take a chance with some bigger bets right off the start. You get yourself a certain amount of profit right off the start. Then the rest of the sessions, you're playing with just that house money. And it's the most enjoyable type of strategy for me because then you're not stressing at all. You're playing with 100% money that you just earned. You're not digging back into your bankroll. When I go to Vegas, the first thing I do when I get to Vegas is I go and I put a big bet on the table. And I tell myself that is going to set the tone for the rest of the trip. Okay. That sets the tone for the rest of the trip. Plus, then I take that profit if I win. And most of the time I've won, I have lost that bet a couple times. And I have a plan for that, right? I have my strategy, which is normally whatever I bring to Vegas, I will put half down on the table on that very first bet once I get to Vegas. If I lose that, no more big bets, relative. I'll play with the second half the rest of the trip. Okay. So to give you an idea, normally I like to take somewhere around 20K. So I'll go down and I'll make a 10K bet, 5 double streets, win $2,000. I put the 20K in my safe in my room and I take the 2,000 and now I'm going to try to play the rest of my trip as much as I can with that $2,000. And it's so nice going down there, playing with the $2,000. Now, this trip, I usually like to go at the very beginning of the year and get all of my tier points for the following year, right? Because when all last year, I got ranked all the way up to platinum right off the bat. So I had all year, I didn't have to do it because I did it way at the very beginning of the year. I got my platinum. The rest of the year, I could just take it easy and play and not have to worry about doing a bunch of play, right? And I'm still getting all the benefits of being platinum, which, by the way, I'm going to start telling you guys how you can go down to Vegas to MGM, tier up very quickly, get all the benefits. Like right now, for Super Bowl weekend, I'm getting the two-room suite at the Mandalay 100% for free, right? I'm getting food and beverage comps. I'm getting like $1,500 in free slot play each trip. I'm getting a cruise every year, which I'm going through because of my play. I opted, instead of going directly through MGM, I'm going through Kirk with Cruising and Craps. Check out his channel. We're going back to dollar unit. What was that? Was that a 5? No, that was $1. All right, let's go to 5. You get a cruise every year once you get to platinum level. And it's not just a crappy cruise. You get to select the Royal Caribbean, and you get with MGM, if you're platinum, you get a room with a balcony view. I mean, they do it for 7 nights, 100% free. You just got to get yourself there. And once a year when you go to Vegas, they'll air quote reimburse you for one air trip up to $600. It's not really of course she's going to whack us on the when we go big. Of course you did. They don't really reimburse you. What they do is if you bring your airfare receipt and you show your host there, they'll give you that much in slot play. So it is a little sneaky to say we're going to reimburse you. That's not reimbursing you. That is giving me the opportunity to potentially reimburse myself, but maybe you can win more. Who knows? But I'm going to start talking about that as well, because that is free. The way that I'll show you that you can tier up very easy and get your free come on. Are you serious? All right. This is where we take our pause because we lost on that bet. Sometimes it's just incredible to me. I was watching the history during my break. Not a single one. We come back and I get whacked. And then she whacks us. She double taps us. So what I'm talking about, I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to chase this one because my next bet won't be $15 units. It'll be $45 units. And I'm not willing to go that far. So when I come back, I'm going to bullet my system again. And I'm going to go either $10 or $15 units. And I'm going to start again. So we're going to take a pause right here at 15 minutes. And we'll come back for our third session and we'll look to recover again. All right. Cheers. Okay. We are back for a session. She has been nailing that low end. So I'm going to cross our fingers and we're going to go up top this time. And I'm going to go in with a $20 unit bet. So you can already see right here the dangers that I spoke about at the beginning with the larger bankroll. Okay. Now, I'm not particularly worried about this. Even if we were to lose this $100 bet, we still have $615. Okay. So that's not a huge concern for me. But you can see, I want it to be for you, and I'm not saying it's chump change, but I want you to see that things can escalate very quickly, and that's the downside to playing this style. You have to really, have a lot of confidence in your ability to recover. You, B, have to have a willingness to stress these kind of bets and be okay with it and not tear your hair out, right? And C, you have to deal with the consequences that you are setting yourself up potentially. While you can gain a lot more quicker, you can also lose a lot very, very quickly, right? So, just something to think about there. All right, we're 28. I'm going to give it another go here. And in fact, I'm going to add $5 to this. Now, I just wanted to show you guys how I play, how my mind works when I'm playing. And again, I look at this and go, I increased last time on the last one. If we had lost, we still had $600. This time, if I lose, I have $630. And I'm very, very confident and comfortable. Even if I brought my balance down to say $300, I feel very comfortable with the graph going like this, which we just lost. I feel very comfortable with my graph going like that. We are just having, I was bashing the Prague tables, and here we are here, just having the worst of times on this table. Okay, so I'm going to give it one more, and then here we go. And like I was just saying, I'm very comfortable with the balance that I would be remaining. That's me. Okay. You got to figure out if you're going to comfortable. So that's why I'm showing you this play, so you can see the trouble that this can cause. So take a look at that balance. I started out with 783 and I am at 255 right there if I lose that bet. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to rebet. So you have to be okay with it. I'm okay with it. Are you okay with it? And I'm hoping to a large degree that your answer is no, you are not okay with it. All right. I see my soybean camera's like frozen because my hand is there. He's still here, but I see it's not moving. All right. Well, we'll just get rid of the soybean cam. Come on, buddy. You're supposed to be bringing me good luck, man. Soybean's my good luck. He's like my lucky soybean foot, right? Although he does have feet that look like a rabbit's foot. Big old fluffy paws. Now, come on now. There we go. Okay, excellent. Now we can bring our bets back down. Amen. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And I am going to now go at $10 units for just a couple hits. And then I'll bring it back down to 5. And then potentially we'll probably call it quits at that point, or bring it all the way back down to $1 units and finish out. This is our third session. We'll probably cap it out here when we're done with this third session. I may come back for a fourth session and we'll just have some fun. We'll play around with some of the other strategies, but let's get through this. Man, as soon as we switch high, look at, soon as we switched high, did you see this history down here? She was whacking down there. We go high. What does she do? She comes up high. I swear, sometimes that's the kind of days you have. I mean, I waited. Look at down here. 1, 6, 3, 0. And there were more ones and stuff down there. So I'm like, okay, we're going up high. As soon as we came to the table, look at, she's been hitting nothing but high since we got here. So maybe I'll switch over to something like Slut or something where I'm moving dynamically. Or maybe you just stop playing 5 double streets and we go to Controlled Chaos, or we go to Outside Marty Plus or something like that. Oh my gosh, right next to that 34 again. Are you kidding me? Oof. All right, here we go. All right, let's see if we can get this one. This would put us up, and then we'll pull it back down. And I already know my plan. If I lose at this level here, we already did bigger bets. At this point, I'll take a quick break, not a full 15-minute break. I'll probably take a 5-minute break, get up, stretch my legs, come back, and I will roll it back, and we'll probably start again at 30 or maybe even at $20 units and see if we can get a good run. I know a good run's there, but we are just not, 41 and 10 is not a good ratio for 5 double streets. All right, there we go. That gets us back up into profit nicely. Okay, so we're at 7. So we're going to go back and go there, and I'm going to stay at my 10. All right, I'm looking to get at least 2 more wins here in a row if we can do this, but it's been iffy. I need her to get that ball back down to the low end away from us. She's just not wanting to. All right. My mama said there'll be days like this. That's a weak attempt at Van Morrison, by the way. All right, here we go. Let's see what we can do. This sort of keeps me alive too. This sort of keeps me alive. I mean, admittedly, I like playing a little bit closer to the edge of the cliff than some do. I'm really hoping that at least for a while until you get Bankroll, keep playing it like we did that very first 100. I can't stress that enough. Even myself, I have to remind myself. Look how we did on those first 100. We were playing very carefully, diligently, and you saw our profit go. And that's why I want to show you. But this is how I play. But you can see the dangers are very, very real, even with the large bankroll, when you start getting a couple losses. And if you don't get a couple losses now, or a string of a bad session, if you don't get it today, I promise you, you'll get it tomorrow or the next day. It will happen. All right, look at that, 27. We are going to go down, cut that back in half again, and we're going to go down to $5 units. And all's well that ends well, but it might not have, right? We might have been down to $200 and some bankroll again from a $783 bankroll. And that's what I was telling you. That's the risk of playing this way, is you think it's faster, but had we lost one spin, that would have set us back all the way. When's the last time I was below 300? Below 300, that would have been day 34. That would have been day 34. That's how far back it would have set me. Okay. We're on day 52. That would have taken me all the way back to day 34. So you gotta ask yourself, are you willing to do that? And again, I hope your answer is no, that you like playing and continuing to play with, say, 10-cent units, and the way we are, and having more sessions and risking only $100 at a time rather than risking your entire bankroll. Okay. So I know maybe some of you are saying, well, yeah, but Brent, then why are you doing this? And I can only tell you that I'm doing this because this is, over time, this is how I play. This is how I have adopted to play the way that I enjoy the most. And that I've been successful at it. You know how many times on my normal bankroll that I've burned it down to almost nothing, and each time I come back further, right? And part of that is because there was entertainment factors and I was making bigger bets than I normally might have. But for example, my overall bankroll was 500,000, just under 500,000 on New Year's Eve. And I decided myself, I wanted to do those big bets, and I won one, but I lost the rest. And I burned my bankroll back down to about 35,000. It sucked. But all right, now that hold on. We're at $42. We are well above. So now here's the nice part. I can bring this thing down to $1 units. We're still making more money per spin than we were previous. But now I feel so much better because I'm like, okay, we can coast out the remaining 5 to 10 minutes of this and take it easy. Now, what I might do is at the end, maybe I'll play cash and burn and go for a couple big hits. Who knows? If we can get this up to 50, maybe I'll do $10 unit bets and try to win 2 or 3 in a row. But if I lose, that's it, because I'm losing my profit. That's it. I have to call it a day. All right, there we go. Let's see if we can get to 50 and then do some cash and burn. That's 43. I'm going to go to a $2 bet that'll get us to 45. So I was down to $35,000. And since the beginning of the year, my bankroll now is at $239,689. So I've gone from 35 to there. Now, in that amount, there are some decent big month bonuses. I was getting large daily reloads over $1,000 a day, because my bets have been so large and I've been wagering so much. I got from Raised, I got a $17,000 tier up bonus. I got a $15,000 tier up bonus. And I got a 17,000 end of month bonus because of my wagering and stuff. So that right there alone, made up $32,000 of the money that I made. And I got money from other bonuses. So it wasn't all just play, but a large portion of it has been play. I've been averaging, and I swear to goodness, I'm listening to myself going, Jesus, hopefully most of you guys know that I don't talk like I don't. Anyway, I'm not trying to flex, and I just want to give you guys insight to how I play and what's possible for you, right? Because I built that with $35,000. All right, we're at $50. We're at 11. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to risk it all on 2 spins. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to flex. I promise I'm not. I hate talking like this. I generally, actually, when I was first started, I really didn't like talking about the bankroll and all that stuff. But I want to give you insight that if you follow this journey with me and you get your bankroll to 10,000, look what I did from 35,000 to this much just in, what is today? The 17th, 2 weeks. Now we're not going to go near that fast. All right, look at that. We're at $60. I'm going to bring it back down to $2 units. All right. And we're going to play for the remainder of our time. We're at 13 minutes. Let's play for a couple more minutes. Look how far. We're not going to go quite that aggressive, and I'm not promising that you're going to take it from this much to $100,000 in 2 weeks, but I'm just saying it's possible. Okay. There's a lot of things. When you start getting your bankroll to a really comfortable size, like 10,000, it really, really, really starts opening the doors for you. So I want you to really, really, really stay tight, stay focused on getting to that first milepost, which is 10,000. So follow me on this. Let's get that to 10,000. And once we get to 10,000, you're going to see just how much easier things start happening. By example, if you get to 10,000 and you're incrementally bringing your bets up, you're going to start getting bonuses and daily reloads and all that kind of stuff from the casinos. More. It's going to be way more than you're getting now. So that's surplus on top of what you're already earning. You're going to be like, wow, I'm now eligible for these drop codes. I'm eligible for these daily reloads. My tier level, I used to be at bronze. Now I'm at, platinum 1, and I'm eligible for this. That's what they're going to do. Now they want to give you that money because they know you're going to turn around, spend it, and they want to take it from you. But we're going to be smarter, right? We're going to get there smartly. We're going to stay there smartly, and we're going to keep playing it there. Okay, I'm glad I brought our bets down. He just whacked us. And we're going to go 2-4. And we're going to go for 2 hits here and call it a day. And we done well. We done well. Now, if I lose one of these, if I lose this one, that's 30. We still end the day. I'm not going to chase it. We'll end the day, and we will have finished the day up $24. And that is totally okay with me. That's totally okay with me. All right, there's one. We can get one more win, bud. Then we can call it. So I'm just really excited for you guys. I'm really excited for you guys to see what that's like when you get that kind of bankroll behind you. And if you keep playing it with the same kind of discipline, things just become so much easier for you to make your daily goals. If you have a set amount, I want to make $100 a day, $300 a day. That $300 a day and what you're making is going to be so much easier when we get to $10,000 and then 20 and then 50 and then 100. Okay. So stick with me on this. Trust the process. I promise that you have a very good chance of doing this. Obviously there's no guarantees because it's gambling, but I promise you have a very good shot at doing this, and we can make it work. And if you do stumble, figure out your plan for how you're going to come back and reinvent yourself. So if you burn your bankroll, in your head, already know what you're going to do, which is, I don't have any disposable income, so I'm going to save up again. I'm going to set money aside. And when I have $100 of disposable income and I'm in a good place, I'm going to start the challenge again. Don't be discouraged. It might take you a couple times to keep going. And guess what? We're still going to be here, and we're still going to be doing the same thing, so you can jump right back in. You're not going to be left behind, okay? No child gambler left behind. That's my new presidential slogan. Let's teach the kids how to do it. All right, that's it. Be good humans. Phew, we did okay today. But you see the dangers. If you want bigger money, it's bigger risk, right? And I'm telling you, sometimes it's really not worth the stress. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Us against the casinos, always. Cheers.